Hello there. Good afternoon. How are you? It's Tuesday. And you know what that means. It's Torah Tuesday. And that is a good thing. Well, we're not going to do the parsha for this week because we're in Hanukkah. Yay. So, what is Hanukkah? I'm glad you asked that. Let's go over Hanukkah, okay? Make sure we're all on the same page. So, we are on what? The third night. Tonight will be the third night of Hanukkah. Got it? Got it. So, how do we celebrate and what is it all about? First, let's do the what it's all about, then we'll do all that stuff, okay? So, what it's all about. Hanukkah, the miracle of light. So, about 159 to 169, the Maccabean revolt, okay? Real event, okay? Maccabean revolt. Judas Maccabee decides with his fellows there that they're sick of the Greeks, they're tired of invading, they didn't allow them to practice their religion, they wouldn't let them read Torah, they wouldn't do any of that stuff. They couldn't do any of the, they couldn't study, okay? So they decided they'd have a revolt. They want them out of the land. Leave Israel, what we know is now is Israel, okay? So they rise up against the Greek army, and they're getting, it's not pretty, okay? And they come into Jerusalem, and they come into the temple, and there's a menorah. You've all seen menorahs, okay? Menorahs have 7 candles. Interesting, right? Well, Hanukkahs have 8. Why the difference? We'll get there in a second, okay? So, the menorah was supposed to, it's oil-based, because they didn't have LED lights or any of that good stuff back then. It was oil-based. They had enough oil for one night, okay? So, and they didn't have enough food. So Judas Maccabee sends out scouts, or he sends out a party, go and get us some supplies and make sure you get the oil, okay? So, that one night's worth of oil lasted 8 until the search party or the scouts came back, the supply run. And that's why 8 nights of Hanukkah, okay? So, if a menorah only has 7 candles, what do? You invent a new one. So you now have a Hanukkah, which has 8. Although, technically, it's got 9. Okay? Let's talk about it. Okay? You got 4 and 4 and the shamus. The shamus, it's either in the middle or the side, is the guy you light first, and then you light the other candles. So when you're putting candles in, for example, this guy is a candle with candles. Here's the shamus by himself up on top. You put the shamus in, you light him. Now you put the candles in left to right. But you light them right to left. You may think that's confusing, but it really isn't. Because Hebrew is written and read right to left. So it's pretty instinctive, obvious, whatever you want to say, okay? So this would be the first night, okay? You'd light the shamus, and then the shamus would light the first candle. Now, on the blessing-wise, There's 2 blessings to Hanukkah, but, here's the big but. On the first night, you do the 2 blessings, plus you do the Shehekianu. Now, you've heard me talk about the Shehekianu a lot. The Shehekianu is the blessing that we always say when we're happy. Okay? It gives thanks to God for making us and getting us here. Okay? Whenever we're happy. If we're not happy, we don't say the Shehekianu. But we always say it when we're happy. Okay? Happy, happy, joy, joy. Okay? Thank you for getting us. And that's literally what it says, is thank you for allowing us to be here or getting us here. Okay? So, where was I? Oh, 8 days, they got 8 days of oil out of it, okay, before they came back. 8 nights, that's why we have 8 nights of Hanukkah, okay? Remember, all Jewish holidays start the night before. They start on sundown, right? Sundown to sundown is our days. So, Sunday, the 18th, was the first night. The first day was the 19th, yesterday, okay? But we go by nights, okay? So tonight will be the 3rd candle, okay? And I got my trusty LED because my wife doesn't want me lighting matches. Just saying. And we got, you see how we did that? We got the shamus, and then night 1, night 2, and night 3 showed up. So tonight in my window in the living room, I will put out my menorah, or my Hanukah will be in the window so that everybody can see, 1, it's a Jewish household, 2, we're celebrating Hanukkah, and like all our holidays, if there's somebody in need, if they're hungry, tired, if they're hungry, they're in poverty, they don't have, it's cold out there, they can knock on the door and they know it's a Jewish household, and they know they'll get something to eat or warmed up. Okay? So, how do we celebrate Hanukkah? I already told you about lighting the candles. Got it? Okay. We eat fried food. Why do we eat fried food? Well, I already told you. Because of oil. Because the oil for one night lasted for 8. Okay? So, we eat latkes, we eat potato pancakes. I'd love to show you one, but quite honestly, I ate the evidence. I thought I left and I didn't. Okay? They're wonderful. We also eat jelly donuts. Okay? Not only do we eat donuts, but we eat jelly donuts. Okay? The donuts are because they're sweet and they're wonderful and they're fried, right? Fried donuts. Jelly donuts is because they're really sweet and delicious. And we want to remember how wonderful this holiday is. And what is Hanukkah called? The miracle of light. Okay? So we want to make sure that we eat all our good stuff. Yeah, our doctor hates us after this holiday. Our cholesterol goes through the roof. Okay? And we have our meal. Now, there's a game associated with Hanukkah that's very, very important. It's dreidel. Okay? Dreidel is not just to keep our kids busy. Dreidel, actually adults kind of like this better, but dreidel is a very important part of Hanukkah. The Greek army would show up at the town, and if you were caught with holy writings, holy books, any of that stuff, I guess they didn't have books yet, but anyway, scrolls, holy scrolls. If they had anything like that, you would be in trouble, big trouble, okay? So what would happen is the adults would go inside the house, open the window, go in the house and study. They'd leave the kids out in the front yard by the road, and when the kids were playing dreidel, if the guards came, if the army would show up, the kids would yell out like they just won. Okay? And that way the adults would know, oops, the soldiers are coming, hide the holy stuff, and sit around and act like you're playing bridge. They didn't have that yet. Just talk or whatever you're doing, okay? Like you're having a meal or something, okay? And yes, the Greeks fell for it. Okay. When you're playing when you're playing dreidel, nowadays, okay, we bet. Yeah, we're teaching our kids how to bet, okay? We bet on the letters. Each 4 sides is a different letter. And if you spell this out, it says a miracle happened there. Because we're in the diaspora, right? The dreidels in Israel spell it a miracle happened here. Because that's where it was. Okay? Just like Passover. You know, when in Passover we say next year in Jerusalem. Well, if you're in Jerusalem, you say next year here. Okay? Because they're already there. Now, when you're playing dreidel, you win. Nowadays, we use gelt. We use chocolate. We use chocolate money, right? Back then, they probably used rocks or pebbles or whatever they used back in the day, okay? So, we're teaching our kids how to gamble. Isn't that cool? So, anyway, that's the game that's associated with Hanukkah, okay? I want to address presents. Everybody thinks we get 8 giant presents, one for every day. 99.9 Jewish households, no. If you get a present, it's one biggie, or maybe you get some socks and whatever throughout. Okay, but most modern households only give presents to kids, 1 or 2 presents to their kids. Why? Because we live in America. Okay? Not so much in Europe, a little bit. In Israel, maybe 1 or 2 things. Okay? It became a big deal to give presents in the 1950s here in America. When the Jewish kids went, hey, how come all our Christian friends are getting all this cool stuff at Christmas? And thus, they started giving presents. Now, I mentioned Christmas for a reason. Christmas and Hanukkah have nothing to do with each other, except sometimes they fall on the same dates. Remember, in Judaism we use a lunar calendar, so it's always changing. So, a couple of years ago, Hanukkah started on Thanksgiving. Okay. This year, Hanukkah started the 18th and goes to the 26th. Yes, it goes right through Christmas. It has nothing to do with it. It just coincidentally, that's a good word, goes through the 24th and 25th. Okay? So a bunch of people get messed up. Okay? They ask, why don't we have a tree? Because that's a Christmas thing. Why don't we do what? We don't do that. Okay? We light our menorahs. We say our brachas. We say our blessings. We light our menorah. And tonight will be 3. And I'll put it in the window because it's LED lights and it won't burn the place down. And so that everybody knows, 1, we're celebrating Hanukkah, 2, it's a Jewish household. Okay? I think I answered everything with Hanukkah. One other thing. Where does it say celebrate Hanukkah in the Torah? It doesn't. Because the Torah was finished before the Maccabean revolt. Okay? The Maccabean revolt comes later. Just like the book of Esther with Purim. Okay? So that's enough of that. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Now I'm going to go eat my props. And I hope you have and I'm going to put up video, a YouTube video. I have been last 2 days. Every day for Hanukkah. Different musical groups, a cappellas, that kind of stuff. And they're usually fun and stupid, and that's a good thing because we don't have to take this seriously. It's a fun holiday. Got it? Good. Go enjoy yourself. So, I'll see you next Tuesday for Torah Tuesday, and that's a good thing. All right? Stay warm. Peace out.